Hello, everyone. This is Richard C. Wilson of the Family Office Club, and today we're doing a member spotlight interview with Mike Brumagin from Battle Monument Group. Welcome, Mike.
Hi. Thanks for having us on here, Richard. Appreciate it.
Sure. So your investment firm offers something quite different than the average kind of multifamily real estate sponsor, or the average firm we see come through our investment community. Can you describe maybe in a line or two what you do as a team?
Yeah, so Battle Monument Group is a private equity real estate fund, and we're very focused on buying single tenant commercial properties in the discount dollar segment, very specifically Dollar General, and our goal is to produce exceptional yield for our investors by focusing on these defensive type assets, and we've become really expert in analyzing and selecting them.
Okay. And I'm curious just why Dollar Generals? You said they're defensive, so I'm guessing part of your answer is that when things get tough and the economy drives towards people wanting to be more on a budget or saving money, that the Dollar Generals, I'm guessing, have a history of doing decently well. But can you explain a little bit about the reasoning behind the Dollar General focus?
Yeah, absolutely, Richard. We started out in 2014 doing this, and given our kind of previous lives experience, we knew we were going to be in the single tenant commercial realm, which is obviously still huge. And ultimately, we wanted to focus on assets we felt would be in the portfolio for a long time. We're buy and hold. That's slow and steady wins the race. And so, of course, yeah, as you noted, defensive, meaning they would perform well in essentially any type of economy, be it a booming economy, an economy muddling along, or even a down economy. And Lord knows, not that we wish it on anyone, but we've all been put to the test with COVID and the crisis, and it's actually been a really good proof of our hypothesis in that all of our assets have performed well. All rent has been paid in full on time, and we're really pleased with that outcome.
Great. Yeah. Congratulations. I know a lot of people are struggling right now. It sounds like you're doing pretty well in your portfolio. What's the size of your fund? You said you started it about 6 years ago, right?
Yeah. So we've actually launched and fully subscribed and closed two previous funds. They were smallish, $5 million equity raises each, but it was important to us to prove to ourselves that the repeatable nature of what we had started. We're very, given our military backgrounds, we're very conservative, systematic type of team. And we currently have 44 properties that we own, valued at roughly $35 million. And, very excited to share about our most recent fund that we launched. Hopefully we talk a bit more about that, and very excited.
Yeah, sure. Why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit more about that? What are you looking to do that's different in this fund? Is it just a larger size, or?
Precisely correct, Richard. We again, in the spirit of taking a systematic approach to growth, this next fund that we launched at the beginning of 2020, aptly named Yield Fund 2020, is a $25 million raise, doing exactly what we do, and we believe we do very well. It provides for an 8% preferred return to investors with an overall target IRR of 11 to 12%. And that's based on a 50-50 split of carried interest on the back end at fund wrap up, whether that be recapitalization and or liquidation. Okay. Oh, and I would like to add that we currently, literally as we speak, have a 44 store package under contract. And so one of the reasons why we're really excited to be doing this interview with you and sharing about our firm, we're very actively raising capital so that we can close on that deal.
Right. Okay, great. And, I grew up in the Boy Scouts and playing a lot of sports. And so I think there's a certain amount of discipline and work ethic that comes from that. But I know you have a military background and you've given back to the veteran community. Can you tell us a little bit about that and how that kind of interweaves with your company's culture and how you operate?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, when I say we, there are three of us that are principals. John Oliver, Peter Stark, and myself, of course, and all three of us are West Point graduates. And as it turns out, all three of us are also decorated combat veterans. Several of our staff members are veterans, a couple other service academy graduates, not all West Point, one of them is an Air Force Academy graduate. So I really think that manifests itself in two ways into our fund, Richard. One is just in terms of our overall management approach. I mean, we don't, to keep this succinct, I wouldn't go through everything, but it really is everything from how we manage our overhead, lean and mean, and how we treat people. One example would just be that I really believe firmly that there's just a degree of earnest conviction you get from a group like us when we say things like we put investors first. And we use words like integrity. That means the world to us. And we don't use those words lightly or tritely. And of course, it explains our passion for giving back to the veteran community.
Right, great. What's the number one due diligence question investors should be asking you? And maybe they never ask this question, but they should be. What would be a sharp question for them to be thinking about? Like, let's say they talk to 3 different firms like yours.
Yeah.
How could you help them be smarter?
Yeah, I think the number one risk component that we face is the limited alternate use of the assets we acquire given their rural nature. I mean, to be candid, there's not a line around the block of tenants that are dying to get into the type of properties that we own. If there were, Dollar General closed that location, let's say.
Right.
So, which again brings us back to the absolute critical nature of our due diligence process. It's imperative that we pick winners. And I think our track record thus far really speaks to that, in the 6 years we've been buying and managing these assets. We've had 18 properties come up for lease renewal, and of those, 17 have renewed on time or early. So we have a very good track record.
Yeah, congrats. That's great. And I guess that's one thing, having a fund versus investing in one property. If an investor is to go out and invest in one property on their own and they're getting exposure to one property, and by chance that one doesn't get renewed, you're taking a massive outsized risk compared to having 5, 10, or 44 properties in a single portfolio, right?
Yeah, exactly correct. When we bought our first property, our first fund, we felt really kind of exposed because we just had that one property. But, as we've grown, it can kind of self-insure essentially, in that, if we had a property go dark, that would not at all impact investor yield.
Sure. Okay.
I'm still just as passionate as ever about the due diligence process.
Okay. And just earlier this morning for commercialrealestate.com, we did an hour-long interview on net lease properties by chance. So all of this is kind of top of mind. And I'm just curious, you look at these properties all the time, you're evaluating the location, you're evaluating, maybe the traffic or the performance of things in an area. What's a $100,000 kind of piece of advice you could provide to an investor looking to allocate to an area like this or to a fund like yours?
Well, I guess I would one-up you, Richard, and say I have $1 million answer, and that is to invest with us. Let us put our extensive, highly disciplined due diligence process to work. There's no secret sauce here. It's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of disciplined diligence, but it's very difficult to replicate. So for someone to say, oh, well, we could go out and do that. We could talk at length about why it's challenging to do that. At the end of the day, you want to put your capital with people that you trust, that you believe are competent to manage the assets that they acquire, and are going to strive to give you the return that they're targeting. And we have a great track record in that regard. So, if there was one nugget in there, Richard, I would say it's as important about who you're investing with as it is what you're investing in, because we are so passionate about the conservative nature of the assets we acquire and delivering to our investors. But that starts with the people, not the assets. Right. It's the people that are going to make sure they get the assets that deliver on the promise.
Right, right. Yeah, I do think that a lot of investors, whether they realize it or not, are really looking for people they can trust and have high conviction in, more so than getting an amazing return. They'd rather be with people that they can sleep at night, trusting their money with, rather than someone trying to hit a home run for them and they don't even know if they can trust them not to run away with their money or something of that nature. So,
Right. So let me lose the sleep at night. Let us lose that sleep at night worrying about your returns so you don't have to.
Right, right, for sure. So, Mike, how could someone get in touch with you if they have, a property for you, a resource for you, if they'd like to invest with you? Maybe they have a wealth management firm and they think half a dozen of their clients should be considering your product. What would be the best way to get in touch?
And I'm hoping we can do a share screen here. Can I share a contact screen?
Oh, yeah, sure. Let me just click one button here and you should be able to. So there we go. Should allow you to now.
And there's our contact information right there. Of course, our website and my direct email and phone number.
Okay, great. And if somebody's following along on our podcast, just so you know, the website is battlemonument.com. And the phone number is 804-360-7982. Great. Well, I appreciate you having me here today, Mike. Any last comments before we sign off?
I just highly appreciate you taking the time to do the interview and have us on here. We're excited to connect with interested folks and hope our focus resonates with some people. We'd love to talk offline in much more detail about our processes and what we can deliver.
Sure. Yeah, that sounds great. Thanks for your time here today, and thanks for being part of the club.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Take care. Bye.